You would have seen a lot of such videos all around YouTube wherein it says that, hey, I went from a 20 percentile in mocks to a 99 percentile in CAT. I went from a 40 percentile in mocks to a 98 percentile in the actual exam. Now, there are two ways to look at this. One way is that you can say that, hey, all of this is just for clickbait, all of this is fake, and probably this is not true. Or the second way to look at it is that hey, probably it means that even those who've done really well and who eventually went to the best B schools, even they went through a phase where they did not score well in their mock tests. Now, I don't know whether all of that is a clickbait or not, but what I intend to share with you in this video is also my story, a similar story, but with logic, that why, even if you're somebody who's not scoring well in one mock after the other, why you can still get your mindset in the right place and still make it happen for yourself in CAT or in any other MBA entrance exam. Hi, I'm Darpan Saxena, an MBA graduate from Udaipur, and let's get on with the video. The idea is very simple. We're just a few weeks away from CAT. If you're a student who's still wondering that, hey, why my mock scores are not good even though I'm studying so hard, and I see a lot of these students in my comments and inside my email inbox as well, a lot of them. Now, these are usually the students who have studied well, that they know that yes, we have given it the effort, but we are not able to score well. Whereas there are also other students who will cry about their scores, but they genuinely know that, hey, we didn't even study so hard. So this video is intended for those who know that they have studied well with sincerity, yet they've experienced certain mock tests where their scores have been very low, where their percentiles have not been what they would want just a few weeks ahead of CAT. Therefore, the idea is to share with you my story, to probably give you an idea of what even I went through, and also put across a logic to you that why it might happen that even if you're scoring low, you might go on to do great in your CAT or any other MBA entrance exam. Now, first of all, I'd like to inform you again that if you are a CAT aspirant who's been following me or not, then I've created videos for all three sections of the CAT, which is QA, DILR, and VARC. I've created the last few months preparation strategy. I've also created the attempt strategy for all three, and also of late I've created certain motivational videos for you which have a lot of data and logic in them. So these 9 videos are probably what you must watch after this so that you get absolute clarity of what you need to do for CAT. Now, the next thing is, are you somebody who's scoring low in your mock tests? I know a lot of you, I know a lot of you who send me emails, who send me comments and all of those things wherein you say that we're not scoring well. Will we still be able to do well in CAT? Now, very frankly, the answer is I don't know. Since I don't know you, I don't know how much have you studied, but assuming that you've studied well, if I were to give you an answer that whether you'll score well in CAT if you're not scoring well in your mock tests, the answer that I will give you is that it depends, and it depends on your mock experience. That what exactly were your experiences when you were attempting those mock tests? What was it? It depends entirely on that. Now, I'll share with you something very important which you need to understand so that your head is in the right place when you are thinking about your low mock score. See, it is very simple to think about your mock scores and cry and howl about them. That hey, I'm not scoring well. वो mock तो अच्छा था but इस mock में इतना हो गया. वो mock भी अच्छा था but इस mock में इतना हो गया. Fluctuating scores, fluctuating mock scores. But if you get a framework, if you understand that, how do you need to process the outcome of a mock test, you will be able to walk into your actual CAT exam with clarity. And that is what I intend to share with you on this slide, that there are 4 kinds of experiences which you can have after you take a CAT mock. Your CAT mock, I had already created one video on this, that your CAT mock, while it reflects your strategy, your understanding of the subject, but it does not truly reflect your exact CAT day exam temperament. Basis what your mock is, you can have 4 kinds of experiences. You could, in the entire history of however mocks you might have attempted, as of now. These are broadly the four areas, the four buckets or quadrants in which you can place each of the mocks which you have attempted as of now. Allow me to explain you each of those four. If you see the quadrant 1 and 2 are the mock tests where you did not score well, you scored low. However, in quadrant 1, these are the mock tests where while you were attempting that mock, you knew that it's not going well for you, that you were not feeling good while while even attempting that mock, and you know that hey, this mock is not going well for me. Or it could be something else in your entire environment which was not in your favor when you were appearing for that mock. I'll be explaining you all of these things. Then in quadrant 2, what you have is that while you were actually enjoying the experience of writing that mock test and you thought that hey, you have attempted that mock well, eventually at the end of it your mock scores were low. I mean, they were not what you were expecting. Then comes quadrant 3 and 4. The quadrant 3 and 4 are the ones where your eventual mock scores were very high. They were as per what you would expect a good CAT student to have. However, in quadrant 3, yes, while you were attempting that mock, you also were enjoying it. You were having a ball. That mock was a cakewalk for you and you were completely enjoying it, that yes, I'm able to solve them so well. I know I'll score very well in that, and you eventually were able to score well. Whereas quadrant 4 is that while appearing for that mock test, the environment wasn't right or you were not feeling very happy about that mock attempt. However, when your scores came out, you actually scored very well. These are the only four cases which you can have. And why is it that on the y-axis I have put your feeling is because of this simple reason that how you feel while writing a mock test, how your environment is very important, because CAT is not an exam of your knowledge. It is an exam of how you apply that and your aptitude. So for that, you need to feel good about it. Now, let me share with you what happens when all of these four experiences can happen with you. First things first, let's forget about the quadrant 1. Let's forget about all the mock tests which you think fall in the quadrant number 1. I'm sure you would have attempted a lot of mock tests, and out of them you can clearly say that higher these 3-4 mock tests I knew it that isme I'll not score well. So all of those will be here. Why this quadrant is not important for you is because of this one very simple thing, that you already knew that the exam was not going well for you, and probably it could also be that your environment was not right, that your frame of mind when you're appearing for this exam was not right. The same thing is that I can safely say, let's for this analysis even ignore the ones where you knew that you will score well, it was a breeze and you actually scored well. Why I am asking you to ignore these two quadrants for now is one very simple thing, that from these two quadrants, whatever mock tests you will keep in these quadrants, you will know for a fact that we can understand that okay, your assessment about your own self is fairly fine. That when you're appearing for an exam and if you're not feeling okay about it, then at least you have the sensitivity to understand that yes, yeah, I'm not feeling very excited about this and there's something is off. So probably it could be that hey, I'm very sleepy right now, I should not have been appearing for this mock, but I'm still appearing for it. Or that hey, I'm absolutely at my right frame of mind and great, I'm appearing for this mock. I'll give you a very quick example of this, of quadrant number 8. So when I was a CAT aspirant in 2015, there was a day when I planned that okay, aaj I need to appear for a mock test. And for a few weeks I had not appeared for any mock test, and hence I planned that this mock test I will only appear for it at the center. So I booked the slot for it on a weekday at 6 p.m. from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It used to be a 3-hour exam back then. I finished my work at my office at around 5 p.m. and I drove for an hour to reach this place. It was actually the Time Center in South Campus in Delhi. I reached there at 6 p.m. And as soon as I reached there, I knew I am in no shape or form to write a 3-hour long mock test right now. The entire day had been a hectic day at my office. After that, I had just been there for, after a 1 hour long drive, and I knew that I am in no frame of mind to appear for this mock. However, I was like, okay, I'll see that kya hota hai. I still appeared for it. I went on to the mock, I started the mock, and as soon as I started it, I was sleepy. I was very sleepy. I just wanted to sleep after that. Somehow, section after the section, I was completing the thing, and I knew this mock is going very bad. Even in what I used to say that my strength is VARC, I would have attempted some five or six or I don't know, eight questions in that because I was very slow. I was reading very slowly. I was not able to completely understand. It was a bad exam. And during the exam itself, I knew that this will be a bad exam because I'm in no frame of mind to it. Somehow by 9 p.m. I finished my exam. I was sleepy and I knew that इसमें ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा जो which I'll be able to score is a 50 or a 60 percentile in this, not higher than that. Then when I checked my scores, I realized that my final percentile was only 27 percentile. And I knew that yes, that this is one of those mock tests which have not gone well for me. Now, what you need to have is that you need to have the smartness to understand that this mock which I attempted was from quadrant number one, where I knew that I'm not in the frame of mind to appear for that mock. So hence my objective or my this thing is not to start to feel this thing about that mock that hey, I scored a 27 percentile, how bad am I, this and that. No, the true sensibility is in to understand that yes, it was a bad experience, that yes, I was not able to do well in it, and probably I was not even in the right frame of mind to do well. And that is why you need to clearly know that okay, out of these four, where exactly is your mock staying, where exactly is it. If it is in quadrant 1 and 3, you can excuse it completely. Do not take those mocks to your heart. Why I'm saying that quadrant 3 should also be excused? You should not start to fly extremely high with a few good mock tests as well. So you need to feel absolutely fine, absolutely moderate about your mock tests. Now, what I want you to really focus on is the quadrant number 2 and quadrant number 4, because the real analysis areas are these two kinds of mock tests which you would have appeared for. What is quadrant number 2? The quadrant number 2 is basically, allow me to go back to my screen. The quadrant number 2 is where while you were appearing for that exam, you were feeling very good about it that yes, I am able to solve all of this. However, when your scores came, the scores were bad. For quadrant number 2, you need to look back to those mock tests, and probably what you need to see is that probably there are certain silly mistakes which you would have committed in it for sure. Otherwise, there is no way that where you're feeling good about the exam, however, you're not able to score well. Or probably that you have such big conceptual issues that while you're solving the problems, you're not even understanding that you're solving it wrong. So it could be either of those three. Or the third thing is that you are not able to assess the LOD of the exam. That while you were appearing for the exam, you thought that this exam is tough. So even if I attempt a few in each of QA, DILR, and VARC, I'll still score high. But the fact was that the exam was an easy exam and your attempts were just not enough for it. It could even be all of that. So these are the three things which probably you have to see. And the same thing for quadrant number 4. Quadrant number 4 is that while you were not feeling good about the exam, you scored well in it. Probably you need to get rid of any anxiety issues. Probably you have certain amount of anxiety about the exam, that while you are appearing for that exam, you're not feeling good, you're feeling stressed out on this and that, but you have the thing in you to score well. And you need to work on the way you think and feel about the exam. The broad story is, the long and short of whatever I'm saying to you is one very simple thing, that if you are scoring low in your mock tests, it does not mean that that particular mock test should have a lot of importance in your analysis. No, it could be a mock test which was from quadrant number 1, which means that You knew it that you're not in the frame of mind to appear for it, and hence it is obvious that you'll not score well for it. The solution for all of this is that which I had already said, is that you need to calibrate yourself with the actual mock slot. So whichever slot you have, you should have started to attempt your mock test in that slot. That is a way. So the idea is you should not take mock tests to your heart. Know the reality of that test. Remind yourself of how you were feeling of that. And if you think that yes, while you were feeling amazing about it, yet you are not able to score well, then probably it is a problem. You need to check back on where are you making those errors. One more thing which I would like to say, and probably this is the most important thing which you need to know. When I had scored that 27 in my mock test, the only thing which I said to myself was that yes, I understand that I was not feeling amazing about it, but apart from that, I also used to say to my own self that hey, this is a part of my story of success. There were a lot of other such mock tests where I had this impression that hey, I have attempted it fairly well. However, even in those, I used to score, say, a 60 or a 70 percentile. But each day when this used to happen, I used to say to myself that hey, this is okay. I need to accept this as a story that yes, he was a student who was not scoring so well in his mock tests. However, still, despite all of that, he went on to score very well, which is exactly what happened with me. That in my very first attempt of when I had this low score, I went on to score a 98.3 in my XAT exam. So, had I been somebody who would have been sad about this, that hey, if in an exam like CAT I'm scoring a 27 percentile in it marks, then how will I crack a exam like XAT, which is supposed to be much more complex? But this happened, and probably I'll share this story in a separate video, that exactly how I went on to score a great percentile in XAT in my very first attempt. I would share that in another video of mine. My objective in this first one was to give you an idea about that even if you're somebody who's not scoring well, accept it as a part of your story and do not take every mock test of yours to your heart. Thanks a lot and goodbye.